I'm going to start with something that might make you uncomfortable, and I need you to just bear with me. If you just felt a little pinch in your chest reading that title, if you almost scrolled past because that's not me, I have a great relationship with my dad. I want you to stay here just for the next 10 minutes. I want you to notice that defensive little flicker, the urge to protect him or to protect yourself from the pain of looking too closely. Notice it, but then ask yourself, why? Because I promise you, the way your father loved you or didn't love you is the invisible script running every single relationship you will ever have. And most women go their entire lives never realizing they're still auditioning for a man who stopped casting them decades ago. You're not broken. You're not too much. You're not doomed to repeat the same toxic patterns over and over because that's just your type. Nothing is wrong with you. The narrative in your head that says, I just attract emotionally unavailable men, or I just need to learn to love myself more. It's not wrong, but it's incomplete. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet wound and wondering why you're still bleeding. I'm going to explain something that will blow your mind. You are not attracted to emotionally unavailable men because you have bad luck. You are attracted to them because their emotional unavailability feels like home. It feels familiar. It feels safe. Not because it's safe, but because it's what your nervous system learned to recognize as love before you could even form a memory. This is what Dr. Tara Schwartz calls the father hunger. It's not about wanting your dad in a weird way. It's a deep, primal, cellular longing for masculine validation that you didn't receive at the most critical stage of your development. Your nervous system, the part of you that keeps you alive without your permission, doesn't seek out what's good for you. It seeks out what's familiar. It seeks out the emotional weather patterns it learned to survive in as a little girl. People hear this, nod, and say, yeah, I have daddy issues, but they don't really understand. They don't understand that their body is literally scanning the room for the man who will recreate the feeling of trying to earn love from someone who was never quite satisfied, the man who keeps you guessing, the man who gives just enough to keep you hoping, but never enough to let you rest. Let's go back, way back, before you could talk, before you could reason, before you could protect yourself. Picture little you. Maybe your dad worked all the time. Maybe he was there physically, but his mind was somewhere else. Behind a screen, behind a newspaper, behind a wall of silence. Maybe you'd run to the door when he came home, so excited, and he'd walk right past you. Maybe his love came with strings attached. You had to be pretty, you had to be achieving, you had to be perfect just to get a scrap of his attention. Maybe he was chaotic, volcanic. You never knew which version of him was coming home, so you learned to hypervigilantly scan his face the moment he walked in, trying to figure out how to keep yourself safe. Your nervous system learned that love feels like waiting, like performing, like walking on eggshells. It learned that connection with a man means anxiety, means unpredictability, means never quite feeling chosen. So later in life, when somebody shows up and gives you steady, consistent, boring, reliable attention, part of you doesn't trust it. You're waiting for the other shoe to drop. But when a man is hot and cold, when he texts back erratically, when you have to earn his affection, your brain lights up. It says, I know this dance. This is familiar. This is what love feels like. And here's where it gets chemical. When you're chasing an unavailable man, waiting for his text, wondering if he'll call, analyzing his tone, your brain is flooding with dopamine. Not because you're happy, but because you're in a state of anticipation. Unpredictability is the most addictive drug on earth. It's how slot machines work. You pull the lever, you never know what you're going to get. So you just keep pulling. Your body cannot tell the difference between the excitement of passionate love and the anxiety of emotional abandonment. The racing heart, the obsessive thoughts, the inability to eat or sleep, that's not romance. That's your nervous system in survival mode. That obsession you feel for the man who won't commit, that's not passion. That's dysregulation. You are chemically hooked on the uncertainty. You are mistaking intensity for intimacy. Real intimacy is calm. It's predictable. It's a man looking at you like you're the only woman in the room and not making you guess. And if you grew up with a father who made you guess, calm feels like death. So here it is, the uncomfortable truth nobody wants to say out loud. If you keep chasing men who can't give you what you need, it's because, on a subconscious level, their unavailability feels like your father's love. And healing this wound means you will have to let go of the hope that you can finally win that unavailable man, that you can finally be the one who changes him, that you can finally get the little girl in you to feel chosen. And this is where it gets hard, because when you start to date a man who is emotionally available, who calls when he says he will, who is clear about his feelings, who doesn't play games, a part of you will scream, "This is wrong. Where's the spark? Where's the chemistry? I'm not even nervous." You might self-sabotage. You might pick a fight. You might push him away just to feel that familiar spike of anxiety that your body has mistaken for love your entire life. Unfamiliar doesn't mean wrong. It means new. And new is terrifying to the little girl inside you who learned that safety meant predicting the unpredictable. So what do? We stop blaming ourselves for the pattern. We stop shaming the little girl who just wanted her dad to see her. Those patterns, the people-pleasing, the overgiving, the staying too long, the accepting breadcrumbs, they helped you survive. They kept you safe in a home where you had to earn love. They were creative adaptations. Thank them for their service and then gently set them down. Stop asking, why do I always attract emotionally unavailable men? Start asking, what part of me recognizes emotional unavailability as love? What part of me feels at home in the anxiety of not being chosen? You attract better by becoming safe within yourself, not by wanting better, not by making a list of green flags and trying to date differently, but by building a nervous system that can finally tolerate the quiet safety of being truly loved without the chaos. When you heal that, consistency becomes sexy. Clarity becomes attractive. A man who is clear, steady, and present, he won't feel boring. He'll feel like oxygen after a lifetime of holding your breath. And here's what I promise you. When you do that work, when you stop chasing the ghost of your father in every man you meet, the men who once had power over you, the hot and cold ones, the avoidants, the ones who kept you guessing, they won't even register on your radar anymore. You'll look at them and feel nothing. No pull, no hope. No, maybe this time will be different. Just a quiet recognition of who you used to be and a deep gratitude that you're not her anymore. The little girl inside you, she's not waiting by the door anymore. She's not performing for love she shouldn't have to earn. She's finally resting, finally held, finally chosen by you. Go inward. Ask the hard questions. Let the old story die. It has to, so the real thing can breathe. Trust me on that. I'll see you in the next one.